So the big question today is, should you pay for dating services and apps? Today, I'll be comparing 3 services that I've personally paid for and some of the pros and cons. My name is Joan Nwosu, and welcome to the Second Chances podcast, a love journey in black and white. So I'm going to start with the biggest one, which I think for me, it was the most expensive as well, which was a professional matchmaking service. Professional matchmaking services cost anywhere between $2,500 to $15,000 per year. And they promise 10, 15, 20 dates, whatever the company provides. And so I signed up for this at a time where I was completely desperate. I had just gotten out of a very, very terrible toxic relationship. And I was desperate to just find some high quality man and didn't want to go through the rigors of the apps, which can be quite painful. So I went and hired a professional matchmaking service. And no, still did not work out for me. But here are some of the pros. You get a personalized approach where they sit with you and they kind of interview you, find out what it is that you like, what you want, what you're looking for, where you are in life. They do some background checks as well, so you're sure that who you're meeting is exactly who they say they are. Wasn't always the case, but that's the promise that they make. So you're really, really able to tailor down into this is exactly what I'm looking for, and they're able to potentially go find you those dates. So yeah, it's a personalized, customized service, so it could be good. For me, the greatest con is it is pretty expensive, and it's such a limited pool. Like, it will take them months for them to get me a date, and sometimes they will be, can you be a little bit flexible with some of your requirements because they couldn't find potential candidates. So yeah, it's personalized, it's customized, but how many people can really afford to be on a matchmaking service? In Canada, not that many. So it's very limiting, and like I said, it could be time consuming because you're waiting for weeks upon weeks at a time to get a potential match. So that's the matchmaking service. Another service I paid for is the more premium dating apps. So eHarmony, Match.com. I actually paid for both. And yes, you spend a lot of time doing a very detailed personality assessments. You can really, really ask for what you want. You can, again, almost like the matchmaking service, you can really, really go into finer details of what it is you're looking for, what kind of people, the demographics, and all of that stuff. So it's good for that. You can really, really be selective. Great. But again, first of all, subscription fees. You're paying a monthly fee, or if you pay an annual fee, it's not so cheap, right? And again, it is also limited. It's a longer process to find matches. You're constantly having to read through so many people's profiles. And then even when you like them, they may not necessarily like you back, or the app may not suggest a match that could be a potential. I just found it a very, very tedious process for me. And I wasn't getting as many matches as I thought I would get. Their ads are great. They sold they sold their ads really well. But when it came to actually meeting great people, I wasn't really successful on both eHarmony or Match.com, to be honest. So now let's talk more about the mainstream apps. So these are the ones that we all use for free: Tinder, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, Hinge, and the likes. I've had a lot of success on all of them. But now I want to talk about the paid version. So I did use the paid version of Bumble at some point. And this is where I get to see people who like me. So you still have you still have access to other people that you can match on your own, but you also know who likes you. Is that a pro? Is that a con? It's up to you to decide. With these apps, the Tinders and the Bumble, which are my 2 favorite, by the way, there's a large pool of people. There's so many people that you can meet. It's really quick. You can get chatting right away. Bumble, as a female, you have to initiate the conversation, so you don't have people bombarding you like Plenty of Fish. Plenty of Fish I found very exhausting. I would wake up and I'd have 300 different chats in my app. I eventually had to delete that app, which is absolutely crazy. So with Tinder and Bumble, you do have a lot of options. Yeah, it's less personalized. So this is some of the cons. It's not as personalized as eHarmony or matchmaking services. It can be time consuming because you're swiping and trying to filter through all the potential partners that are on the apps. But again, I still find that it's a bigger pool. And with the paid version, you get some additional benefits as well. You can go back. You can You can see who's liked you, which I think is the most important thing for a lot of people who pay for these apps. Okay, so do they work? To some extent. The truth is, there's no right or wrong answer, really. It's really what works for you. For me, I've always said that the biggest challenge in not being able to attract and keep a partner is not so much to do with the apps. It's so much to do with you. It's always very painful to accept, and I know it's hard because it took me a long time to really accept that. It's you. If you're not able to find a mate, it's you. If you're not able to keep a mate, it's you. It means that there is still work, there's still healing that needs to be done. So the energy that you have and you step into these things with is what determines if you're going to be successful or not. I know I paid thousands of dollars on a professional matchmaking service and it led to zero. I paid for the premium dating apps, it led to zero. I paid for the Tinders and Bumbles of this world, zero. I met people, but it wasn't very successful relationships. And so at some point I had to tell myself the truth that the work had to be done with me. It's the energy and the mindset that I go into it with that determines how successful I'm going to be at it. And at the time where I met Davide on both Tinder and Bumble, I must say, both apps at the same time. It was the free version, and I was in a good space, so it was really, really quick. So here's why I don't like the paid Tinder, Bumble, even the eHarmonies and matchmaking services. Because you've paid an investment, you've paid a premium, you almost automatically start to have expectations of someone who's liked you. Like if you wake up and you see this person likes you or swiped right on you, you start thinking that they're really serious. You start thinking that they really want you. Forgetting that some people just spend their entire day swiping right on every single profile and hoping that one person will swipe right back. So it's a match. So you show up with this sense of, but you liked me, but you swiped right on me. It don't mean anything. I swiped right because I was bored. I wasn't even looking. I didn't even read your profile. Right? So I find that it becomes pretty obsessive because, it has that almost like a dopamine effect where, you think somebody likes you. It's not the same as somebody walking up to you in the mall and saying, hey, how are you? I saw you, I liked you. That's different. This is just somebody endlessly, mindlessly swiping. Not in all cases, but a lot of the time. So I find that people get very invested very quickly. You start having all these expectations. You start thinking, you should like me, or you should put in more effort. You should do this and that. Whereas no, for me, it's pretty much the same as the free version. You're just another option. So make sure you're checking what mindset you're going into it with. And if you're starting to feel some anxiety around, this person liked me, but they're not communicating, then maybe you're thinking about this the wrong way. Maybe now you are relinquishing your power, your control, and putting it in the hands of somebody else. I know that for a long time in my life, I always went with who likes me or who's readily available, right? So because a guy's going after me and he's doing all the right things, I'm like, he's so sweet, he likes me. Okay, yeah, let me give him a chance. Whether I liked him or not was not a consideration. Why? Why would I give away my power? Why would I let him be the one to choose me? I have to choose you. So for me, that's another reason why I don't like the paid version. Let me go through the profiles and choose the people that I want to swipe right on, that I want to connect with, that I find their profiles interesting. I don't want it to be a case of, you liked me, so now I have to consider you. I don't want to consider you. I don't want to know whether you liked me or not. I want to know that I like you and I've swiped right. And if you swipe right as well, then great. It's not because I liked you or whatever. You read my profile, you were interested in it, and now we are a match. So for me, those are two main reasons why for me, I wouldn't want to pay for any of these apps. I think that working on yourself is the most important, getting yourself into the right mindset, into the right abundance mentality as opposed to a scarcity mentality, and really putting in the effort to build a great profile that really reflects who you are, your authentic self, are the key things that you need to finding potential dates who are genuine on the apps, as opposed to this buffet style swiping right on everything or looking for who likes me today or not. And then you have all this anxiety around nobody likes me. Okay? The decision of who to be with should be yours. You should have on your own, you should be able to decide, I have an interest in this person, and it shouldn't be you choosing somebody because they liked you or because they are readily available. But again, it's your decision. It's your love life. If it's working for you, you go ahead and do it. But if it hasn't been working for you, then maybe consider some of the things that I'm talking about today. And before you start throwing away thousands of dollars on matchmaking services or dating apps, maybe ask yourself if you've done the inner work to really be able to attract the kind of person that you want to. Remember, you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. And whether you pay for it or not is not going to change anything. If you're not in alignment with what you want, you're not going to get it. So step into alignment today, because you can. You deserve to. We all deserve to. And you can have the man or woman of your dreams. Thank you for listening to today's episodes of Second Chances Podcast, a love journey in black and white. Till next time, sending you love and light.